Welcome to Historia Prize Draw. This is quite a special evening because we've got the Jimmy that's been on the competition for the last month or so, well, 4 weeks actually. Yep. But more importantly, we got a guest star tonight, and we've got the one and only Mr. Kevin Wheatcroft, which you will know the name. And on a serious note, Kev, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm a bit nervous.
I might have to have a drink. Time.
Yes. So thanks for coming. What we're going to do, folks, is we're just going to chat with Kevin for a bit, because you would have heard of Kevin, one of the biggest collectors of private collections in the world of World War II armour, mainly German, Kev, is that right in saying?
Yeah, in numbers term, yeah, but
so
yeah.
We've got a ton of questions to ask Kevin. We'll get to that in a second, but thank you. First of all, thank you to everybody who's bought tickets for the GMC. It's a stunning GMC. It's a local one to us in Dorset, and it's well known on the circuit. And trust me, Jesse over there. Actually, let me introduce. Jesse's on the keyboards, as you know. We got Cassandra, studio manager, over there.
Hi.
They can't see you. And we got Kevin's agent, Mrs. Wheatcroft, over there. Thank you, Mr. Wheatcroft. So that's the game tonight. So the GMC is, as Kevin, and I were discussing earlier, it's got brand new tyres on it, gorgeous canvas. So
it's a good one. It's definitely a good one.
And it's very, I wouldn't say very French, but it is French because all the date, we haven't changed anything, and we wouldn't, because for me, a part of its history.
But that's the joy of the next owner.
Yeah, and I think
they'll do that.
Yeah, completely. And I might be right or wrong on this, Kev, but it's not very French, it's French data plates and such. So I would imagine it was in the war at some point.
Yeah, and left in
there.
France and sold as war surplus eventually.
Right. And it's I like that history. So whoever wins this tonight can do what they want with it, put it back to American style. Data plates you can get from Green Barn Parts and such like, who are a supplier of ours, good friends of ours. And it's a solid Jimmy. It's got a beautiful note to it, Jess, hasn't it? It's got that GMC tone to it, that straight six. It's stunning. And Jess has driven it more miles than I expect the Americans did in the war, actually. So we're going to chat with Kevin first of all, and then we will get to the draw. So many questions to ask Kevin, and if you've got questions yourself, put them in the comments and we'll get to them. But if you don't know, Kevin owns, as we said earlier, goodness knows how many vehicles, and currently the collection is focusing on the Tiger restorations and rebuilds.
Yeah, it's literally one vehicle at a time. Well, it's not. It can be 5 or 6 vehicles at a time, but we concentrate on batches. There's that much work to do, but it's the only way of sort of keeping control of it.
And let's go right back to the beginning. Where did this madness come from, this collecting passion?
I think a lot of it stems from my childhood. I grew up with the likes of Kelly's Heroes, the comics. Both parents were involved in World War II. My dad was a tanker. My mother was a German civilian. They met there on the day the war ended. And my father stayed over there for a couple of years recovering vehicles for the British Army. And I just listened to so many stories that as soon as I'd got anything money-wise together, that's what I reached out for. My first vehicle was a Jeep. That's what started me off.
A Jeep. And how many Jeeps have you got?
I probably had 50 or 60 over the years, but I think it's 10, but it's 10 really good original unmolested examples.
And you've got a beauty of an original SAS Jeep I saw the other day.
Yeah, which has got a great continuous history. It survived unaltered and was brought off an ex-SAS man. So he put it back absolutely as it would have been, and I've never had to touch it.
So when you bought your first Jeep, did you think, or did you have the vision of owning 3 or 4 Tiger 1s and a couple of Tiger 2s?
No, I think, as we were talking before we come into the studio, I think it was me. I wanted something different as a kid, and the Jeep was the answer because I couldn't afford anything else. And like all things, it tripped a switch that then made me become or want to become a collector. And that, you know, with the Jeep it was easy. You needed a trailer, then you needed a garand, then you needed a uniform, and it just started.
And a Tiger, you needed a Tiger?
Well, that was a bizarre thing, because whilst it's the pinnacle of German armour, I didn't really think about tanks until quite late on. And in one Christmas dinner, my father said, well, you know, there's one on your grandma's farm. And that's where it started. I couldn't get it because I had to wait for 2 generations to pass away before I could talk to somebody that was remotely interested in letting it go. And by then I'd already accumulated many parts, and I knew that, you know, to me, a Tiger would be the ultimate, let alone 5. You know,
Is 5 enough?
It's never enough.
No, right, of course not. Yeah, yeah. And when you started to get into the hobby, and obviously your father was a tanker, was he into tanks? Was he going, good, well done son, good move?
He left me completely alone until I had proved myself in front of him that I was serious and capable. Only at that point did he start saying, well, I know where there's this, I know where there's that. And then we travelled around together, around France, Belgium, looking at museums. It never helped me financially. It was something I had to stand up on my own 2 feet and do. But I think when he started to understand I meant it and I was for real, he then lent support. And putting a collection like that together cannot be done without a premises and some assistance in a building. I mean, most collectors buy something and then hide it under a sheet because we've got no workshop. I was lucky enough to have those facilities to fall back on.
You were telling me a story once about when your father was, after the, you know, just post-war, the year or 2 after war, his job was to collect the vehicles off the battlefields, I guess. Was he a petrol head, or was he a tank?
Always.
Thing with the Donington connection.
I mean, the whole point of him acquiring a Tiger for himself, which how on earth he thought he could ever get it home, I do not know. But it wasn't the tank. He'd had enough of tanks by the time the war had ended, but he wanted the V12, thinking innocently he could build a racing car out of this. But, you know, there's no racing car in the world could carry an HL230. It's just too big. But if it wasn't for that initial desire for him to save something, the whole thing would have long gone. So I can only thank him for that, giving me that leg up in life. Yeah, and here we are all these years later, they're getting very close to being, you know, ready to turn out. Yeah,
I've seen the Tigers in question, and when you walk into that workshop, it's spellbinding. It's just.
Well, I think I warned you when you know, the 2 times that we've been there together. I said to you, like, this is, you know, when you open these doors, you're not going to believe what you see, and it is very much like that.
I think I swore,
because the world has taught us there's only so many survivors, and they're all in museums, and it's baloney really, because, you know, people forget about what the private collectors brought together, and want to keep it private. It's only me that has chose to shout about it. And you know the knocks I've had to withstand because people think I'm dreaming. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I wouldn't have put the time, effort and money into this if it was just a dream.
I can remember back in the early days of the internet, which is where I came into the World War II hobby in 2005. And that was when the internet was still, of course, in its infancy. And you didn't have you had chat rooms, that's pretty much it. You didn't really have forums as such. And there was so much crap about, back even in those days, that Wheatcroft haven't got anything, it's just all nonsense.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something I've had to put up with, and it's only in recent times that I've, through the TWC Facebook site, we've released statements to try and explain why, because I am a private collector, I have been doing it privately, it is going to be a collectors club where people can join and come and see and play with these things. It's about sharing what I've created. But, you know, if I look back, it's impossible that I have an S-boat. It's impossible that I have a Stuka. It's impossible that I have 5 Tigers. It's all impossible.
It's a bit bad, mate.
What propels somebody to come up with that when you know, I've spent a lifetime and a small fortune acquiring these things? I'm passionate about what I do, and I only want to share it with like-minded people.
Yeah, because there is a lot of fools out there and idiots and,
Oh,
and
man.
rude people and con men, if you like, in that sense.
Yeah, I mean it's an everyday battle, but equally I have to say there's some great people there, and I've had some massive support through our Facebook site. And you know, if it wasn't for the team I've built up of diggers and ferreters and followers, I would never be where I am. I have to thank them. They've done the legwork. I've just got the wife to write a cheque.
Right.
That's the easy bit.
What do you think of that, Mrs. W? Writing the cheque?
No comment.
Okay. Should we move on?
Move on.
Okay.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, okay. Now, I've met some of your team abroad in Europe and such like, with the 770s and such like. It's like, and which leads me on to another question in the sense of that old tech skill is going, or had gone then, if you like. This is from an outsider's point of view. And when we met the Tiger guys, they're just a different league, aren't they, on most things?
It definitely is diminishing. There's a lot of restorers out there that say they can restore, and unfortunately, you know, I fell foul of some of their results, like so many others. But there are some great people out there, and you know, we only want to work with great people, and they're the only ones I want to introduce you to, because they're proper guys. They can do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. When we saw the that 770, it was just incredible. And I mean, that's just, for me, the Tigers took my breath away. And then we went to see the 770, the car. It was just like, freaking hell. Yeah, that was just someone else.
Well, on the last trip, I think Alex sat up front, I sat in the back with Bismarck, and we had a drive around Berlin. I mean, you know, how bizarre is that? The opportunity alone to be able to do something like that is as much as I could ever have wished to have taken out what I've done, let alone that I've saved something. And, you know, I don't want to parade around about it. I just want to move on to the next. You know, life's too short. I'll move on to the next thing. We need to get as many of these restorations done as quick as ever possible, but still maintain, you know, a guarantee of correctness.
And it's not just because you're known, you know, for one reason or the other for German armour, but your collection, and I've seen Kevin's collection, and it's just bizarre. It goes from Tigers, Panthers, Hetzers, S130s to Elvis. Now that freaked me. The Elvis story is just bonkers, because most people see you as this huge armour collector, but in actual fact, you collect even down to the most prestigious thing of Kostrels, I think, is.
Well, I picked that up from a local.
There's one or two big collectors of Kostrels in this room.
Is there?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm a collector, so what I don't collect isn't worth mentioning. I just collect things. I love it, and because of that, and because of my late father's ability to introduce us into those circles, you know, I have met some great people. And I say the Elvis story is another story, but you know, I was 16, 17 years old and sat there talking to him at a party. You know, yeah, I still have to pinch myself to believe that was real. And I think it's those sort of things that, you know, I mean, I remember being in the presence once in a small party. There was 9 Formula One world champions there. And just to have that ability to be able to sit and talk to them. And I'm actually quite a shy person, so it doesn't come easy to me. But some great opportunities, and they're all part of the rewards that you pick up along the way as a collector.
Yeah, that's a good point, of which I don't think many people get, is that naturally you're, as you say, a shy person. So, and I know you've taken a lot of stick online through uneducated people, XYZ. So you've done well just to still have that passion to bring history to people.
Yeah, I mean, the knocks are there, aren't they? And, you know, if you didn't have the knocks, it's because you're not interesting. You've got to take that. The world is full of them sort of people, but, you know, I'm like a surgeon. I cut those out of my life as quick as ever possible. I just want to move on. I just want to make the biggest amount of waves, positive waves, in my short lifetime. And you know, I'm lucky I've got Alex supporting me in that, and I've got 2 daughters that are very keen and working, you know, on the fringes of what I'm doing, and I hope they'll take it on to the next stage and add more and more to the collection.
which brings me. How are we doing for time, Jess?
Yeah, okay, I actually do have an interesting comment here, because Kev might have competition. Richard Williams said he's got 10 tigers. They're in 1/35th scale.
I think I know Richard, and it's true.
We all need that competition.
But they make me think, because Kevin also has the Armatech collection.
Oh yeah.
Which is also, it's a whole...
And the Scalextrics collection.
Yeah.
Well, I never had the patience to build models, and I respect anyone that does. And I'm fascinated, but I've never successfully started and finished a model. I usually end up jumping on it. So I like to work in the one-to-one thing because I can't squash it. So
when I was a kid, Kev, just going to regress back to me. That's all right for a second.
Fine, yeah.
I've still got the scar on there.
Yeah.
I had a Spitfire Airfix, and I set fire to it. I think it shot down about the brim, and it dropped. It dropped the molten plastic on it. I still got the scar. I'm only 42, and it's still there.
yeah, time to move on to another hobby, isn't it?
But yeah, Rich is a good modeler actually, and the model industry fascinates me, or the hobby, because it's huge, it's ginormous.
And I think that's what we're aiming at with our collectors club. It's collectors, it's models, it's historians, it's anyone with a passion and a soul, because we want to be able to sit around a table and have fun, have a few beers together, play with vehicles. It's about being human, like what we're doing tonight. It's not your stuffy museum where you pay your entry fee, go in, have to leave by a certain time, and that's your memory gone. This is about living with these things, like I've been lucky enough to do, and sharing it.
We on the point of museums, because we all visit museums, not just military museums, but just history. Well, I certainly do history in general, and I've got a real issue. And I did write to the CEO of a particular museum about this interactive kids wall thing that just drove me insane. I went to see a really historic, profound gold talk that was Bronze Age, and I really wanted to suck it up just to see this thing, a work of art. And I've got kids, of course. Some I know, and they were just making so much racket, and it's like, and I was so fed up with it, because I want to go and absorb this in peace, not with my kids when they were little gits, of course.
My visit to the German Tank Museum when we left a message on the message board.
Oh yeah, thanks for that.
But I mean, okay, they can be the collectors of the next generation. But you're either, and I'm not kicking museums, I've run a museum for 40 odd years. You're either a museum or you're a collection, and you want to share that. If you're just a cash generating centre point, then of course you're going to run it differently. And it is your Lego sets, it is you all that other crap that goes with it, and that's not what I'm about. By all means, I'm welcoming the next generation, but you've got to have gone past that stage before you would be welcomed into TWC. This is about a serious collection for serious people. If you want to go and colour something in, then you're looking at the wrong venue.
Yeah, because
that sounds hard, but at the end of the day,
but it's yours.
I've got a limited time to make a difference, and I want to make a difference with those that are already converted. I can leave the rest of it to somebody else.
So what does because you would never, years ago, and I think it's only, speaking out of turn maybe, but relatively recent thing that you've decided to open it up to I'll say public, but to members then that have gone through a vetting process. What's changed? Is that because you want to show it to people, you want to share it, you want to share the knowledge?
I think it's a simple one. It's body clock. I've been collecting since '73. I've amassed 500 plus vehicles and thousands and thousands of other exhibits. I love it. And I think it's only when you start to realise you're not immortal, and that what's a collection for if it's not for sharing. But my question then is, who do you share it with? And I want to share it with like-minded people. I don't want to go down that painted faces and colouring book route. It's not
I'm with you on that.
Not for me.
Or frigging whack-a-mole thing that it's not. I understand. it's all about funding, isn't it? At the end of the day, they get funded.
Of course it is. And I think sometimes that's where museums do go wrong. They look that they need to prostitute themselves for any cash that's available, rather than looking at the collector that's already got the cash and making it accessible to them. And I've tried for years with different museums to gain their help and their backing. Some want to play, some All for One have been great. German Tank Museum have been very helpful, but then there are others that just turn the collar up at you and don't want to know. A private collector's seen as a dirty word.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing. I don't know if it's because I'm not the academic that maybe I ought to be to better talk to them. I say it as it is. I ain't going to change.
No, I'm sure you're not.
So that's the way it is.
So with your collection, are you going to run the vehicles, or are they just static?
Absolutely, yeah. We will have open days. We're trying to tier the collecting club so there's, it's accessible to as many as possible. But some of the upper echelons of the membership will allow you to actually drive a Tiger, let alone be a passenger in it. Drive a 770, drive a G4, swim a Schwimmwagen, things that maybe they can't do or just want to do to tick a box in life and don't have the opportunity. We can, it's as broad as you want it to be.
Because where else would you, it's kind of like, in a sense, I think, showing my age here, you'll get it, Kev, Alex won't, because she's younger than all of us. Fantasy Island, that 70s.
No, I mean, you might be knocking on the right door now.
Right, we'll move on, because I might have got that completely wrong, but you could go to an island and you could have whatever you wanted. Do you remember that programme?
Yes, I do. And I think, in a way, it is about making fantasies come true, because we can. But we were talking earlier before we come into the studio about it's in my backyard with my friends and with my family, with my dog. And what you're joining here, you're becoming an extended member of the Wheatcroft family. And that's what we're about. It's not about queuing to pay your entrance fee and having to leave at a certain time and not touch anything, not be a part of anything. It's open-ended. Questions, answers, opportunities, relaxation, entertainment. That's what we're about.
I think the important question on that is, what's the standard of coffee? Because most museums is appalling, and not speaking out of turn here, Mrs. W, but there's right.
I can't say it on air.
No. So people can come and just not walk around a red rope and cordon off.
It'll be in small groups where everything will be one-to-one with me and Alex and Bismarck, and some of our friends that will assist. You can stop and have a beer, we can talk, there's access to open questions, there's reference libraries, there's manual libraries, there's spare parts that we can help other collectors with. It's everything a collector's ever dreamt of doing. It probably won't be cheap. We're still working on that element of it. We've been inundated with requests, thousands, and we've got to sift through that. It wants to be select. It will, by the nature of what we do, not be cheap, but it's access all areas.
And you've got some, we've seen it, guys. I mean, some extraordinary, just world-changing history. And it's not all about armour. It could just be a helmet. It could be anything. It could be a walking stick, a cane. It's just incredible.
Well, this week alone, and it's only Monday night. And
sounds expensive, Alex.
We've added that much to the collection today alone. It's thousands of objects have come our way this today. Some of it's delivered tonight. Some's been delivered later in the week. But that's what we are. We've opened up a giant suction pump to draw these things in while we're able. Some of which, a visitor might, every time he visits, will see something new. It's not the same stagnant collection. Everything's new. There's opportunities to hear things run, to hear the mechanics swear at it because it won't run. you know, it's very human, it's very tactile, and it's very personal.
And where does on a human level, where the heck does your vision come from for that? Because
I had an older brother that had all the toys, and I went without. It's as simple as that.
yeah, how can that explains it?
I think it was simple as that, really. And when I was able to earn the money in my own life to do these things, that's the route I wanted to take. I mean, everybody assumes that it's some endless bank account. It isn't. We have to earn the money, and I have to make the choice of putting my hard-earned money into this hobby, which I wish to share with others. And that's why we are creating the Collectors Club, because we need the financial help to make that possible. Both in my lifetime and in the future, to protect it, so it moves on to another generation and another generation. And money's a horrible word, but we all need it.
We all need it, and
I
that's
think
what it takes.
I think that's what you're doing with the Jimmy and the other things, is you're possibly creating those possibilities for collectors that don't yet know they're a collector. And that's unique.
Yeah, because it just takes one spark, doesn't it, to set fire to everything.
That's all it took with me. And you know, that the guy that buys this, that wins this Jimmy, maybe he's got another vehicle, maybe he hasn't. But whatever it is, it's going to give a lot of pleasure to him.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we've done 5 Jeeps so far, haven't we?
Yes.
5 bikes.
I think 6 maybe. It's maybe 5. I lose track of them.
6 is fine. We go with 6.
We'll call it 20.
Okay, 58. So we've done 1 Jimmy, which the guy took the cash, which is fair enough, because they're a big lump, and if you don't have a drive and such like to park them in, the guy who won the first bike, he didn't have a bike license or a garage,
Don't think so, no.
if I remember right, and took the cash,
Yep.
which is cool.
Yep.
But overall, of all the prizes we've given away, not one of them's been a military vehicle collector or in the military vehicle movement.
There you go. But he was interested. Whoever it was interested enough to buy a ticket.
The throat's a bit dry. Is your throat? Your
Yeah, I
throat
was going to
working?
say they turn the heating down. I'll deliver some more beer.
Yeah.
But let me just...
So yeah, to go back to your point, Kevin, we'll get to the draw in a minute. If we can, for us, thank you. If we can, someone's going to get a call or an email in the moment of the GMC. That's game changing, because the first Jeep I bought years ago, is where we are right now. It changed everything, didn't it? And Jeeps and vehicles like that tend to do that to you, don't they? You just instantly in.
I think what a lot of people probably don't know about your organisation is you're not buying these things to raffle. You have your own collection. You know, some of it's lacking. You know, the Costrell collection's a bit slack. I think I've looked in your warehouse and I've seen some of the things you've spirited away. I mean, you know, that still excites me. And I've got 10 Jeeps and 2 GMCs, but I still get excited about another one. And I think, you know, thank God I've still got that feeling. And hopefully whoever it is that's lucky enough to win tonight's Jimmy is going to get the same bug, because this is the sort of people we need to look at in order to keep this hobby alive into the next generation.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I wanted to ask you, you're the top of the game, one of the biggest collectors in the world. You've been there, done that, gone through all the pains and struggles of everything. What do you think the future is, or how would you like to see the future of this? Because you don't collect like you do for a laugh, you do it for lots of reasons. One of them's clearly passion, but also it's saving history that
I
you
think
do.
with me, even if they were worthless, I'd still do it because it's what I love. The fact that they are making money is another reason why we should spirit these things away. I'm always concerned about the next generation. That's why I'm so happy that my kids have come into it, because I didn't force them. They were surrounded by this sort of stuff all through their life. And if they've decided to pick up on their own and have vehicles of their own, which they have now, and shown an interest and the studying they're doing to learn as much as possible, that's the greatest repayment I could ever have. And I think, you know, people say, oh, you know, we collect what we couldn't have as kids. Yeah, I think we do. But everyone that goes out and buys, you know, 70 grand Ford Escort, I don't think in 10 years' time he's going to have 10 of them. He will stick with that because that's ticked his box. I think the real collector's still out there, and they probably don't know they are. And you've seen with some of the things I've shared with you tonight. Things are out there, and they come. If you shout and bang that drum loud enough, it comes to you.
Yeah.
We're a respectable organisation. We treat people correctly, and I think most of our suppliers are now known to us. We've done dozens of deals together, and I think if you're correct with people and they can see that there's a passion and a future.
Do you have a concern that the skills like the guys, the Tay restoration guys, which are what they've done to your Hetzers, are now working on the Panthers? We saw the Hetzers, didn't we? When we did the Panther lift.
Yeah.
That was another Tiger moment for me, because when we walked into that warehouse, it's not warehouse, or what would you like to call it?
The workshops.
Workshop, yeah. Sorry. And we were just. You just come, and Gav was sat there and said, Jack, come on in, Jess, come on in, take your shoes off, which we did. And the level of detail to that, you can't explain it. No one's ever going to see that level of detail. Well, they will, they could do if they're in the Collectors Club, but as a rule...
I think they will, because we will allow them to do it, which most museums won't allow you to go beyond a rope, or certainly not in a vehicle. And we want to, in a way, in a guided, controlled way, want to encourage that. Finding the right people is probably one of the hardest things. Finding the right suppliers of parts in the first place, because I can't be everywhere. Spend a long time abroad looking for these things. We do thousands of miles a year searching, but I want to thank all the people that are out there on my behalf searching for stuff, digging in this cold weather, in swamps, buried in snow, bottom of scrap yards. They're great people. Without that, I couldn't even have done a fraction of what I've done. As regards restorers, it's good, bad, and indifferent. And sometimes the only real way is to try.
Is to find out.
We've had a lot of people that have failed us. But we've had now some, and the ones we continue to use are just producing great results, and we will work together until we're too old to do it.
Mm. So in a sense that collectors like yourself are keeping those skills, because we've come across it even in our world. Like you said earlier, like there's restorers and there's restorers. So if that's the big stuff like you guys have got is not being done, then that skill is going to go, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's gone.
Absolutely.
So I've got one question for you before we do the live draw. What's the future?
Well, I think the future's got to be what we're doing, a club where people can become so close to it that they want to be involved. And I think the other element of that is what you're doing. You're making these things accessible to ordinary folk. And, that's where it needs to start. The guy with the money in his pocket can go out and buy one tomorrow. But you've given someone a chance to make a dream come true. And I think that is truly... I know there's other people doing it, but it's fairly unique what you're doing. And I will take my hat off all day long to it.
Well, yeah, thank you for that. That's... Yeah, thanks, Kev, because we know that when people win a Jeep or a bike, it does change them. For us, it's fantastic because it's an entry level. It's like for £2.49 or quid or whatever we're doing, it's like boom. And we couldn't be where we are now without your guys, you and Alex's support and help and advice. And don't do that. You've done that, you idiot. That's, or we could do this, we could do that. But we know that when those Jeeps and Jimmies and bikes go out on the circuit this year, that they're going to be so proud to own that because they own it. Yeah. And they can, certainly I can talk for myself, couldn't afford to own a Jeep back in the day, but if I could.
I think in our own way, we're both proud to be associated and watch how you've grown. As you know, we painted one for you, we got all your team around us, and it was great fun. Yeah, it was a lot of work. I don't want to do another
the bar bill was frigging expensive, Kev. I'll tell you that.
But, it's part of the fun, isn't it? We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I think, part of me is with that Jeep now. Whoever's got that.
Well, Tony Noon's got that down in Devon. And Tony, is a collector of vintage cars or classic cars, and he had a Jeep, and he's never been into World War II stuff. And if Tony, if you're watching, then you understand what I'm saying. Now he goes off and he's joined the MBT, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And he does the rallies and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of, for us, that's kind of really cool, right?
Yeah.
And we keep on doing it.
Keep on doing it.
One question from Rich Smith for Kev. Rich wants to know if there's a rough time on the club. He's very excited.
Yeah. When it stops raining, I can get on with things. As you see it every day. We're moving on. We've been dogged with either illnesses, bad weather, supply chain, material supplies. No, I can't tell you at this point when that day will be, but we're working toward it every day, 7 days a week. And the only good thing is then when it does happen, the longer you've waited, the more is for you to see. Because we are getting restorations finished on a weekly basis, as you know.
Yeah,
You've seen the traffic coming in, with finished vehicles and finished buildings, and you know, it's...
Yeah, because what most people don't understand is that TWC got a huge collection which grows, and Alex would know this, by the day, by the hour. You've got to put these things somewhere. So you have to build stuff. So it's not just a case of
you've seen the
there.
infrastructure behind what we're doing here. I mean, it's just, you know, thousands and thousands of square feet with thousands of tons of parts which have been catalogued and preserved. And it isn't. I will never live to see it all done.
Does that make you sad?
No, because I've started something that's way bigger than I ever could be, and its sheer size and rarity and importance now dictates that another generation will continue with it. So, you know, of course we're all impatient. I'm impatient, but you know, when will it be finished? I will just keep doing updates through our Facebook site, and I'll keep everybody informed as things move along. I mean, like a lot of things, we'll open in a small way, and it'll just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
As it
by
evolves.
the nature of what we do. Like I said 10 minutes ago, today alone, we've added thousands of valuable parts to the collection, which is just, most big institutions wouldn't do that in a lifetime.
No. And just to back up with Richard there, everybody wants it to happen right now, kid. So if you know, whatever you're doing, Alex, at the weekend, stop that and just sort this out.
Yeah, any good with a paintbrush? You can join.
No, I got arthritis in both wrists. Great. Okay, we need to go live.
Should we draw?
We should draw, but can I just say this first?
Yeah.
I want to do some thank yous, everybody, like we always do, because those guys have been with us from the beginning. They've supported us. We'd like to support them back with just some thank yous. So I'm going to go through the board over there. And this one's to Mike Gilman from Green Barn Parts, who's, if you want anything for this GMC, that someone's going to win within the next 3 minutes, Mike and his crew are the people to go to. And Mike's been with us on Armour and Embarkation as the wrecker, one of the wrecker teams since day dot. So Green Barn Parts is the place to go. I've got TWC on the board, but I don't need to thank TWC because they're here. Thank you, Kevin and Alex. Always thank Gav and his team at jeepparts.co.uk. If you want anything for your Jeeps, go to Gav. The service there is second to none. And also, whoever wins the Jimmy within 60 seconds, trust me, Howden Classic Insurance. Thank you to Ian Arthur and his team there for the gift voucher, the insurance voucher up to £250, which will cover you and your Jimmy for a year. Simon and Ruben, and you won't know them, but we do. When we bought the Jimmy from a friend of ours last month, the Jimmy that's in the drawer, that's coming in 40 seconds, they helped us out more ways than I ever want to discuss. And it's cost us an awful lot in beer. And Jim Clark, of course, of Allied Forces Canvas, who's just sent us some jerry can straps. So you've got brand new jerry can straps on there. And also we got, of course, Aces High. We got the signatures and the other. What else we got? Aces.
You got the on the competition.
Yeah.
You got the Big War album.
Big War album, which was my idea, which reminds me of my childhood. Which I nicked that album off my brother, which he still doesn't know about. He doesn't do social media, so he won't know. And just finally, yes, the Jeeps are coming back, the bikes are coming back, and the Dodge WCs will be back. So now,
Ready?
this is what we're going to do over here. Thanks, Jay, for this. We're going to put what we're going to put in there, Jess.
So I'm going to put a random. I'm going to put 100 in this maximum box.
Here.
And I'm going to hit generate
Here.
just to show everything's working.
Yep.
Test run.
Yep.
And then once that's done, I'm going to put the maximum amount of tickets.
20,000.
8,000.
8,000.
8,000 tickets.
I wasn't far off.
Not far off. And then we'll hit generate, and whatever number that spits out, I'm going to put onto the screen on the left, and then that will find the winner. Whatever number comes up on the right screen, if that person's looking at their ticket now, they will already know if they've won.
Yes, because
Their number, that is their ticket number.
once we hit this, the winner will be automatically within the second on the website. So there we go. Right.
Right, so I'm just going to do a little test run.
Good luck, everybody.
Okay, right, so we're all working, we're all good.
You can see that, okay, right?
Yep, I can see it. Here we go. Right. Ready? Ready?
Yep.
Okay, right, let's try it. But bear in mind, just keep everyone waiting, if this is an unsold ticket,
Yes, because
we'll roll again.
we have some unsold tickets. So if it's a blank, we just roll again.
Yeah. So if that person looking at their number now, they already know they've won. So we're going to put ticket 2912.
2912.
2.
Here we go.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Ticket unsold.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but Henry and Richard.
Yeah, Henry,
One
Richard.
nil,
Yeah,
one nil,
you were
one
close,
nil.
fellas.
Sorry, guys. Okay, right, we're gonna generate again. 6101.
I'm nervous now. Don't forget, you can also take the cash.
There we go.
Neil Murray. Congratulations, Neil. You now own a GMC, 1943 GMC. Wherever you are, Neil, I hope you're checking this out because you now just own a piece of World War II history. Congratulations. And thank you to everybody else who's entered and hadn't won, but next time you may do. But congratulations, Neil. Trust me, it's a beautiful Jimmy and it will change your life because military vehicles do, don't they?
And the Jimmy, it's like a big grown-up Jeep.
Yeah,
it's
it
still a
is.
lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And you get all your mates in the back as well. Well, we've done that with our other Jimmy, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Champmall Express.
Champmall Express. Yeah. So Neil, congratulations. We'll be in touch via email. You should be up on the website already. And to everybody else, thank you so much for being part of it. And we are continuing to grow. We're continuing to bring new items and competitions. If you haven't won, I'm sorry for that, but next time you may well do. But Neil certainly just won a fantastic GMC. Are we good there, Jess?
Yep, have you said everything you want to say?
We said anything, Kev?
No, congratulations, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Brilliant. Good enough. We'll see you next time.
Okay, cheers.